from a very young age, we have really gone into the energy of wrongness. At 6 years old, 5 years old, I ran out of my bedroom when I was trying to go to sleep, and I said to my mum and my auntie, I'm absolutely so scared that the devil was going to get me because I'm a bad little girl. I was 5 years old, 5 or 6, definitely under 7, because I moved at 7. I remember the house I was in. I was so scared that I was a bad girl because I was a born sinner, and I was going to have to repent and be a good girl for the rest of my life so I could actually be with God in heaven, because I was less than. How many of us have felt that way? How many of us, this is a collective thing, how many of us have felt that we are less than, we were born sinners and we must repent? And it's very sad. And I feel, how do you feel in your body when I say that? I feel a real sinking feeling, and I feel a sick feeling to my gut, because all I've ever told my children is, you are beautiful and perfect and divine as you be. Be as authentic as you can. Be in your integrity. Trust your truth. So today we're going to go into a deep dive. And I really want to share with you guys that as I am going through this process with you, I have cried, I have laughed. I woke up and I was in tears this morning. I was crying before I went to bed. Why? Because the communication part. So I do a deep dive with you every single day. I'm living the transcendence right now. That's all I'm doing, is living this transcendence program with you. I grow through it. I rebirth through it. And I have been in tears because I've been communicating with a timeline of my 23-year-old self. And my 23-year-old self requires parts of security and safety that she did not have. And I was mirroring my own mother from when she was 23 years old, and when she didn't feel safe and she didn't feel secure. So this whole exploration of transcending is, we've got to be okay here and bring the communication of the different timelines when they're ready to come up, because time isn't actually linear, but this is the dimension, the 3D present dimension we are in now. But different ages and thoughts and reminders and our past self will come forward for deep healing. This is how we transcend. To get over here, we must be willing to be here to clean up all the things that was over here, because it's all together in the now. We can't get there from here, but we have to be here to actually get there. Just like something is better than nothing, and nothing creates nothing. So there's a lot of paradoxes here. It makes sense when you break it down and you like dissect it, but I don't want you guys to do that. I want you just to be present now. And this is why we went through the sacred self-service. This is why we went through the nervous system, calming my nervous system as I expand so I can hold more, because the communication is inevitable. Communication is inevitable. We are human beings. Our first language is energy. If you didn't already know, our first language is energy. We can be having conversations with people smiling when we don't particularly like them. Or someone's talking to us smiling, saying, you're my best friend. And you're like, but I don't even feel like you really like me. We've got to trust our instincts. Communication is everything. And like I said before, what happens is people come to me and say, Victoria, I want to quantumly take me on this journey. I'm willing to invest the time and the money and everything, the resources into me. But what if this creates a discord between me and my husband, or me and my friends? Because I'm secretly woo-woo and I don't know if I want anyone to know. We see this in sexuality. We see this in many different parts of us. That's why people have got these secrets of who you really are and what you really think. And we put on this face. We put on this whole, well, to fit in, I've got to be like this because my 6-year-old was petrified to go to hell. And I've got to be a good girl. I've got to be in the community. I've got to be a people pleaser. I've got to be a nice person. But there's different sides of you that want to all be experienced. And the shadow and the light creates wholeness. Okay. How's this feeling for you so far? Pop it in the chat box. What is the thing that is popping for you? And today, in day 3, maybe this is your first time you're doing this, so you can catch up on the last couple of days, or maybe you're 3 in a row. Let me know where you're at. I want you to tap into your body and say, how now? How now? How am I feeling right now? You know, when I'm recording this, we're coming into Christmas. People are starting to have Christmas parties. There's Christmas shopping. There's hustle going on. There's cleaning up the end of schooling, and of course our work. And it's an energy of intensity. We come into Christmas time where many can feel lonely and many can feel overwhelmed because there's a whole lot of family around, and communication is a big thing. And sometimes we're going to put on our freaking faces. I'm seeing family today. I'm traveling today. I'm going to go see family. I'm going to see aunties I haven't seen for years. It's like, this is going to be interesting because I have transcended over and over and over. I've ascended essentially since I've seen them last. What is the interaction going to be like? What is the communication? How can I be the most authentic self that I truly be? By being present, being aligned. So we're going to talk about this. So what is popping for you? How are you feeling right now? Let's get into this. This is a deep dive. Please remember there's a codex. If you have never worked with me before, when I speak, there's a codex. We are channeling. So the guides are coming in. We're asking all the guides of the highest frequencies, realms, vibrations to work through me and you as we come together in this co-creation. Because everybody who's here or watching on replay or watching years down the track is creating this, because time isn't actually real. It's real in this 3D reality, but we have got more than one dimension going on here. And today I want you to come into the concept of timelines, of different parts of us. My 23-year-old self is with me deeply today and yesterday. And I've been able to communicate with my husband what my 23-year-old self needs. Isn't that interesting? So we're going to go into that in a minute. So alignment, action, and accountability. This is what we're going to dive into in the workbook today. This will change your life if you do this work, even if you don't consciously see the point of it, because we want to be here. When am I going to get there? When am I going to jump? You're jumping. You just don't know it. It's happening all the time. So let's get aligned, take action, and learn how to be responsible so you can be proud to say that you created your reality. And I see this happening. I've got to talk about indoctrination. Okay. So the indoctrination happens. I have been in religion most of my life until, my dad's atheist, my mum was Catholic. So I always, and I'm a projector in human design. So and a Virgo. So I've been always very inquisitive and curious. And I've always been somewhat sitting back and watching. And I had, opinions from different people. So thank goodness I wasn't just in one church with like, this is the way, because maybe I would have been locked into that thought pattern. But I also joined a consciousness group, which was about healers, which was about systems working up a certain way, kind of like a religious, spiritual MLM kind of thing. Nothing against MLMs, gotta say, those businesses are amazing if you know what you're doing and all the things. Like, go hard, great way to make money, of course, and help people. But I was in a cult unknowingly. Now, because I had my different points of views that I had from mum and dad, thanks guys, I was able to pick up on some of the behaviors, some of the hierarchy behaviors, some of the not allowing to feel emotions. Oh, emotions as thinking is stupid and feeling emotions is ridiculous. And, the cult leaders are like, we're the only ones who are allowed to have opinions right now. And they would process you to think their way. Oh my God. Like, have you guys watched cult stuff on TV? Anything that you're too into is indoctrination. And a part of my ability, a part of my superpower is to not get too indoctrinated into anything, because I go in, I experience things, and then I go, and I get a weird feeling and I step out, I start observing, and then I start seeing the truth. So I don't feel bad for being in a religion and being in a cult. Not at all. Because I got to learn and experience what it was to be absolutely human and in this indoctrination. Psychology fascinates me. Human code of behavior fascinates me. How people manipulate you from being born, since we were born, because we're learning from our parents who have been manipulated, of course, and trained and programmed and conditioned, to growing up and observing and going, how are these people functioning? How am I functioning? And is this energetically correct? We must communicate with self. So that's number one. Okay, so the SOS is communicating with self, communicating with others, and communicating with spirit. This is an SOS. Save our soul, self, others, and spirit. So important. And self is number one, because what I think and what I believe, what I feel, what I know, what I think is worthy. And if anyone is telling you to think something or to feel a certain way or to act a certain way, they're trying to indoctrinate you, and they're indoctrinated themselves. That's the thing. Okay. So I found a system a few years ago, and it was called Human Design. I think it's fascinating. Different energy types. It's astrology, it's Kabbalah, it's I Ching, it's the chakra system, it's all these things combined. It's this channeled message. I'm not super indoctrinated into it. I understand my energy system. I understand the way that I work. It's my blueprint. Do I live by human design? Kind of. Am I massively indoctrinated and say it is everything? No, I am everything. Myself is everything. It is a tool to help me understand that I don't kind of work like many people. I need a lot of rest. It ticked a whole lot of boxes. Why am I so fatigued all the time? Why am I fascinated with the other? Why am I doing this right now on a Sunday? Why am I doing this? Because I'm fascinated and obsessed with helping other people. It's a part of my blueprint. I understand my blueprint. I step back and say, thank you. Do I need to go into the intricacies of every planet and every gate and every channel at any given time of the day or night? No, I don't care. Because I want to experience. What is the moon doing right now? I'm not quite sure. So some people are different to me, okay? So just hear me out here. Some people are so inquisitive, they want to know everything. They are natural investigators, not me. Don't care. I'll throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. And I'll do it again and again and again until I get it right. I'm an experimenter. I am a teacher. I am inquisitive, and you are different from me. This is the thing. Indoctrination of people telling you to do things my way, the guru mentality is come and do things my way. And we see this in the personal development. We see them with coaches. We also see this in the gym, eat this way, drink this way. No, you can't, because all of our systems are different as well. Okay. So much I want to share with you today. So for yourself, you need to be willing to put yourself first before others. Do not listen to anything I say if it does not resonate with you. Take what you want. Maybe you're not quite ready for it, or maybe you've evolved past it and went, well, that's a very linear way of seeing it, Victoria. I'm see it way more expansive. I'm trying to talk to everybody here. So you need to take what I say, make it true for you, and see what your point of view is on that. And your truth is your truth, and your truth is right. We are thinking and feeling human beings. And if anybody tries to tell you you were wrong in your belief system, if you are religious, you are religious. Good for you. That's where you are at. And that is what feels good for you. If you are spiritual, you are spiritual. If you love community and you're in groups and you're like, you know what? I'm all about the tribe. Good for you. Maybe I'm different. I am different. We are all absolutely different. And this is what we need to do. This is what I help people with in my communities and in obviously one-to-one coaching, I'm like, well, how are you? Where is your genius? What are you good at? What lights you up? Where are we going? Not what I'm doing. What are you doing? Who are you? What is your genius? What is your superpower? Yourself. Look at yourself. What is correct for myself? Too many people are trying to be like other people. Here's the problem with that. You want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a spiritual leader, you want to be whatever. You try to do something like somebody else and you're never, ever, ever going to be able to succeed like they are, or you cannot hold that standard for too long. This is why we see people having 100K year and then they just, they lose everything. Or they're trying to keep the picket fence with the 2.5 kids, the puppy dog and the marriage, and they've got money or whatever. And then eventually they're just like, I couldn't do it. He was a drinker and I was coping by doing this, and they can't keep it up because they're trying to be something that they're not. How does this life work for you? Where are you still functioning from that 6-year-old? Where are you still functioning from what mum and dad wanted for you? And when can you realize that you can exceed all of those things that they wanted for you because they just wanted the best for you, but maybe that's not the best for you? How does it feel for you? Let me know. Pop it in the chat box. What's going on in the body? How now? How now? This is a lot for me. I'm feeling it so deeply. Today I get to see my parents. Today I get to go say goodbye to my grandparents' house because it's going to go on the market. I get to go say goodbye to my grandparents. My grandfather has passed. My grandmother has been put into a home. I get to go be with my feelings. I've got to allow myself for all those timelines to come forward to be. So many people come to me and they start crying, and they cry for 2 years. Why? Because they've repressed everything because they're trying to be something that they're not, instead of actually working through the different timelines and allowing ourselves to be. But we don't want to get stuck in the past. We can't get there from here unless we're here to work through the now and take the micro steps to get there, because we're never actually ever there. We're always here, right? Wrap your head around that, because the head will never be able to comprehend that. Others. How do we communicate with others when their communication is so different to ours? Holy moly. Everyone's life is about what they've experienced in their reality. And their communication is from what they've experienced from a very, very young and what they've seen. Nurture and nature. But a lot of the nurturing is what you have witnessed. Have you witnessed fighting? Have you witnessed trauma? Was relationships toxic? Or maybe they were perfect, which is just as bad, because this world is literally about communication and being able to troubleshoot and communicate what is going on. Most of my one-to-one clients, it always ends up, 80% always comes down to communication. When I'm doing spiritual mentoring or business coaching, it always comes down to communication. How do we communicate with others? First of all, you've got to understand that you are your own universe and they are their own universe. Within your heart, within your soul, your heart and your soul is within you, and everything external is a mirror of your internal. Everything. The shit show that you experience is from what you have experienced and what is going on within you. So did you deliberately create shit in your life? No, but there's lessons for you to receive from that. And once you get it here and the now, you transcend. You can shift. You actually go, wow, I don't have any pain in the ass people in my life right now. This is what's happening. Oh my goodness. But then if I go into my internal dialogue and my 23-year-old self comes up, I'm like, oh, here we go. Stuff starts showing up on the external. So I go, thank you. Come forward, and I step through into it. I work through it with the tools and the processes that I have, which we're going to go through today. And I shift and I change. I don't burn my house down every time I go, oh my God, it's happening again. I go, bring it. Is it going to be emotional? Am I going to go into a mind crazy fest? It can be chaos. It can be hectic. I'm not a guru Buddha sitting on a hill, meditating, being enlightened. I'm a human being here to work through the things so I can ascend, so I can be more and better and be myself, which is actually not external. It's coming within and realizing I'm all of those things. I'm just accessing more doors in my mansion. How does it feel for you? What is popping for you? Put it in the chat box. When we speak it out, when we write it out, pop it in the chat box. We're being witnessed. We're being heard. We're being seen. We start to transcend beyond. We start feeling different things in our body. I'm now feeling up here. I'm like, whoa, bring it, energy. How do we communicate with others? If someone else is a completely different universe, they are fascinating. We don't know what has gone on in their minds, in their hearts, in their households. We don't know. So their reactions to you and interactions are going to be so different. And sometimes people hear different things you're saying. You know, there was a lady and I was so nice to her. I was like, hey, how's it going? Then I gave her a hug. What have you been up to? Oh my goodness, let's catch up. Da 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 da. I said, I better go. I've got to go to a work meeting. She walked off. She messaged me about a week later and said, I felt like you were very cold to me. I felt a dagger in my heart. I'm like, what? I'm confused. There's a communication lack. Energetically, maybe something was off. Maybe someone is reading into you and analyzing you. Communication is everything. So how do we deal with this? How do we deal with the people around us that have got trauma and toxicity in their lives? And that is all of us, by the way, just at different levels, depending on how much work that we've done in this deconditioning. We have to be authentic and true to ourselves and hold our heads high so we don't go into guilt, we don't go into shame, we don't go into, I am so sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. No, different universes. That's what we are. There's different facets to us. There's so many different parts. Did you know there's millions and millions of versions of you? Because every single person that has ever met you or seen you or felt you has a completely different experience. Absolutely. So how can we try to be one thing? Because we're never going to be one thing to anyone. So we might as well just be ourselves and trust that the person in front of us and their own universe is going to receive exactly what they need to receive from us, whether it's a trigger, whether it's pure love, whether it is dancing together or conflict. We're mirrors. We're going to get whatever we need from the other person because we are literally experiencing the external, which is always the internal. And we can't ever try to analyze it too much because there's so many timelines and facets and past lives and soul streams coming down all at the same time that if we tried to figure it out, our minds would explode. So we might as well just be. Thank you, Eckhart Tolle. We might as well just be and hold ourselves. Do I want to be friends with that person? Energetically, I'm getting a no. In my head, I'm getting a, well, that of course you do. What are you going to listen to, your head or your heart? Your head will make sense to you. Your heart will not a lot of the time. You need to follow your heart. And I don't mean by having a toxic relationship because your heart is saying, I love him even though he's on drugs. Or I love him even though, actually, I've got to watch my words on here because we're on Facebook and I don't want to get shut down. So like, I love him even though he's toxic for me. And my heart says, go with him. No. Your heart is saying don't, because your heart, that's your wounds saying, I want him. But what is your heart telling you? What is actually good for you? What is the thing that is going to bring you more to a higher consciousness, which means an awareness of your true self? What is that for you? It's a knowing. It's an energy. So how do we communicate with others? By being as true as we can to ourselves and not worrying about how they're going to receive that, because that's none of our business. Hard. It's very hard. I'm a reformed people pleaser. I would actually say I still am a people pleaser because we don't just become perfect. We're always working. Alignment does not mean perfection, which we'll go into in a minute as well. Chat box, is this resonating with you? If it's too much for you, lie down and receive the codex. You can rewatch it later. How's it feeling? Let me know. I'll be coming back to you later. Okay. So, self, others, this is the SOS method. Save our souls method. Spirits. Communication with spirits. Once I started looking into myself, sorry, and there's a lot of spirit here, and my nose will get very itchy when there's spirit around. My ears will get very red, and I just start feeling they're like they just static starts coming around me. So look at ourself, hold ourself, then literally be unapologetic and in our integrity and authenticity when we are communicating with others. Like I said, try to be someone else. You might get to your first 10K months, but you can't hold it. People go, how have you been so successful with such a small audience for years and years and years and years? I'm like, because I'm myself. And if people love me or they hate me, it's none of my business. And yes, sometimes that hurts because I'm a human. Other times I don't care because I know I'm serving people. So being in your integrity means I show up as myself on any given day as I am on that day, because there's many facets of me, but I don't try to fit into other people's realities with the perspective or perception of who they think I am, because I am not that person. So my mum and dad see me completely different to my husband, to my sisters, from my children, to my clients, from my friends. Every single person, all of my friends see me differently. All of my clients see me differently. There's millions of versions of you. Can't try to be all a million different versions. We can't control everything. So we might as well just be who we are on the day, depending on our cycles, our rhythms, our alignment. And I can't wait to talk to you about alignment in a minute, but I'm just going to finish off with the spirit. We are energy. We are spirit. Our first language is energy. And literally, we're a human being. The being is much larger than the human. The human is tiny. Have you ever done my expansion exercises? You can find some meditations on YouTube. And when you expand beyond the 5D, beyond the 6D, beyond the 7D, you become oneness. It is more of a collective energy. You can't feel your body. It's just so interesting when we start playing with the interdimensions, when we start traveling throughout the dimensions, when we have the capacity to go beyond the mind and realize that we are a being that can time travel forward and backwards, although everything is in the same space, which is the now. Yes, I get into a bit of a quantum here, but wow, it's none of my business what anyone else thinks about me. It's none of my business. So I hold myself. I hold my standard. I hold my boundaries. I go into this magnificent mediumship certification a lot. Boundaries and standards when it comes to spirit. Because I'm no one's doormat. And I certainly am not here just to be used as a medium. No. I am a soul. I am a spirit. I'm here on purpose. I have a mission. And I know who I want to be in my reality and who I don't because of my energy. So that's why I can be a medium. That's why I can feel spirit around me now, because when I tap into that, I'm going beyond my mind and I'm starting to feel into my senses. And I get to communicate with spirit of the highest realms, the highest frequencies, the highest vibrations. It's not judgment. It's just what I'm available for. So that's all that shows up for me. Am I aware of dark energies? Absolutely. Am I aware of reptilian snake energy within other people or demonic energy? Absolutely. Am I afraid of it? Hell no. No. Because I'm stronger. I'm stronger than anything that could ever penetrate me or hurt me. Because I'm not allowing it, because I'm not weak. I am energy. And energy is literally light. And nothing is stronger than light. Nothing is stronger than love. Please listen to me and write this down. Love is communication. Love is light. The only truth here that I would say is the absolute truth is love is the only truth. Love of self, love of others, love of spirit. Love is not codependency. Love is not giving up your soul for others. Love is not choosing to be in a toxic relationship because your heart told you you can't let go. That's trauma. That's like toxic trauma attachment stuff, right? I'm not going to go into psychology, but that's all of that stuff. Love is freedom. How now? How are you feeling? I'm starting to feel it all come up now. We started down here, now it's coming up here. I'm like, wah. I'm starting to see static because I'm going into my being more. Human, being, soul. Okay. Your senses are everything. Okay, so let's get into this book. Alignment, I talked about it, indoctrination. We are trying to find religions and cults and spiritual groups and tribes and communities are all beautiful if that's what you require, when you require it. We're human beings. We are a race. We are creatures. We require each other. Our blueprints come together and we literally activate one another like we're doing right now. You're activating me. I thank you. I'm activating you. There's no hierarchy here. I'm just facilitating the channel that you guys wanted. I don't even know how many people are here right now because I can't see. I'm just showing up and doing the creator's source consciousness work, however that is. It's just feeling what I want to do on my Sunday. It feels good. People will say, even in human design, if you're not aligned, you're feeling frustrated. Your not self is frustration, bitterness, anger. And someone said to me the other day, but when I feel frustration, it's like a good thing. For me, it's like a kick up the butt. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm frustrated, so I'm going to take some action. So I believe that all of us are in alignment at any given time because we're always perfectly on the path that we want to be. And if we divert, we're going on the scenic route. Usually takes longer. We get to experience a lot of things. There's a thing on Facebook I saw, and it's like these two balls going. One ball is going, my friend sent it to me. So one ball is going up over bumps and the other ball is going straight ahead. Which one do you think goes faster? It's the one with the bumps. We don't want straight ahead, easy life. We would be bored shitless. We don't want perfection. Alignment doesn't need perfection. But we were told at 6 years old that we're already a sinner. This is a collective generalizing here, okay? So tools are meant to be used to free us, not to pigeonhole us. So when we get too indoctrinated into either human design or a cult mentality, a group that says, okay, next level, next level, next level, next level. When we do that and we're like, oh, I have to do it to get there, you've gone into the system. Too many people excuse me, spirit is here right now. It's really intense because I mentioned spirit and opened up that channel. So too many people are like, I got to get there out of need, should do it, instead of, this is my next level, let's go. Heart and head is all about your alignment. It's pretty ironic that I found a system that got me out of the system, but I see people indoctrinated into that system. But it depends on your own soul, on where you're meant to be. Would have I ever chosen to be in a religion and in a cult? My head says, hell no. Of course I chose that, so I could be here right now. Bump, bump, bump. Faster, 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 faster. Straightforward. Wouldn't be human if it was straightforward. Perfection is not alignment. But I get to enjoy the experiences I'm having, and I get to dissect it and go, oh, that's fascinating. What did I learn? What do I want to take from that, which was truth, that I can now express and bring forward into the world because I learned it? Fascinating. How does that feel for you? Have you ever been in a cult? Have you ever been in a religion? Have you ever been indoctrinated into a system where you're kind of like obsessed with it, but all of a sudden you find that everybody else is starting to fall away from you? Maybe it's spirituality. For me now, I'm the most spiritually connected. I wouldn't say I'm spiritual. I don't like to give myself any type of name, to be honest, and label, because I just am. But I've never been so connected, and I've never been so close to those that I love, because I am me at any given time in my integrity and my authenticity, and those around me are them. They're not wrong. I'm not wrong. They are right. I am right. Even if we have completely different points of views, as long as we don't energetically push or try to pull like this. In Magnificent Mediumship, I teach about energy, about pushing energy and pulling energy and expanding energy and shrinking energy. And this is huge. It's massive. You're always aligned. And if you're feeling frustration or bitterness or anger, your body, this is why we did the nervous system and the sacred self-service, so you can tap into yourself. Your body is telling you what is next. Oh, I'm feeling a bit bitter. I'm feeling a bit emotional. I'm feeling a bit tired. Excellent. Okay, my beautiful body, what are you trying to tell me? What are you required to do? How is my breathing? Am I grounded? I'm so curious about what's going on right now as I communicate with myself. So what does alignment mean to you? We've got the workbook here. What does alignment mean to you? Are you living in alignment in your truest form? Yes, even when I'm not feeling aligned, I know I'm aligned because something's coming. Something's coming. We go through the waves and the rhythms and the cycles all on purpose. The thing I look for is the patterns, because I want to break the patterns so I can transcend with total ease, to transmute, to transform, to transcend. When you feel aligned, what are the things that you're doing every day? This is really interesting. This is something that needs to be written down. When you're feeling aligned, what are the things that you're doing every day? I'm moving my body. I'm eating well. I'm sleeping. I'm drinking water. Goes back to the nervous system, doesn't it? Goes back to the 4 Ps in number 1 in the first training on Transcendence. What do you do when you're feeling aligned? Are you socializing? There's certain patterns that you do. And there's certain things that you do when you're not aligned, when you're like actually starting to go fight, flight, or freeze. So for me, I will be like, I don't want to shower. It's too hard. Ugh. You know, or I'll be like, I'll quickly have a shower. It's so being human's hard. Everything's heavy and dense, and I feel bitter and I want to stay away from the world. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling confused. That's when I know I need to bring in my tools. Not to bypass, not to zone out. Maybe I need 2 days sleep. Maybe I need a whole lot of real food and some supplements and a whole lot of water. Maybe I just need to tuck in and lie on the couch for a couple of days to give my human a rest. Maybe I'm a little bit burnt out. What are you required to do? So how do you feel when you're not aligned, and how do you feel when you're aligned? And all you have to do in this not alignment, right, because you're still on the right path, is to nurture yourself. Alignment is everything, just like yourself is everything. This is how we are the gift to the world and live in purpose and live in our mission. Any guru energy guy that is showing up as a perfect being and saying their life is perfect now is lying, because we are always doing this. To be authentic and to be real is to actually be like, you know, like, this is where I'm at. Maybe I've come so far from where I've been, but I'm still so much further to go, that I always am here and I'm always willing to be in. Too many people are over here, but we need to actually descend within to transcend expansively. Is this making sense to you? A lot of codex today. So how would your life look every day if it was divinely aligned? How would your life look? I could say what it's like in the summertime for me, in my summer cycle, when I'm ovulating, when I'm going to the gym, walking on the beach, you know, I've got this balance. It's easy, it's beautiful, but then it's different in my winter time, just before my bleed. It's different. Doesn't mean I'm not aligned, but we're always striving for perfection. So I'm at where I'm at, and I am in my sacred self-service. I'm working on my nervous system, no matter how I feel. That's what divinely aligned means for me. What does that mean like for you? How can you serve yourself at all parts of your cycle? I had a client and she came to me, she worked with me for 4 months, in one-to-one. And she said, I'm great for a week of the month. I'm like on fire, Victoria. But then before my bleed, it's hectic, it's crazy, it's horrible. I'm in so much pain. My life is so hard. I'm on strong drugs for the pain. It's excruciating. I go to the A&E and I'm like, well, why do you think you need to be in your summer all the time? Now her bleeds are easier. Now she manages and holds herself in those times and realizes she doesn't have to be, this is me all the time. Because we beat ourselves up for not being perfect. Let's dissipate all of that right now, please. That's huge. Can you feel it? Okay, the next one is action. So many people go, I'll take action. I'll work with you. I'll do the things. And I say, here you go. Here is something I want you to do. Here's this beautiful PDF. I want you to go fill it out. And they're like, nah. Well, do you know what that's telling me? You're not willing to take action. You have to take action to get where you want to go. But the action is always happening in the now, not in the maybe, not when the kids leave home, not when I've got more money, not when, like, yeah, divine timing 100%. Maybe that's the action that you need to take is I am here now and I'm not ready. Maybe it's owning by taking the responsibility that I'm not ready. I'm not ready to do this work. And that's okay because I'm here now and I don't want to do it. Maybe that's the responsibility you need to take. Maybe the action is being here now and realizing that you need to integrate what you have already learned or let it all land. Or maybe it's actually taking massive action and saying, oh, I actually want my dreams to come true, so I'm going to action that. This is what I'm really good at, is stepping forward and helping others to step forward to take action. You can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink, that good old saying. I can't make my clients do anything. The ones that are successful, that are now creating their own online businesses, left their jobs, they have won money, or it's like all this random stuff. I could go on for days about that. One client was given $100,000, just given it when she was working with me. Had magic and miracles happen, not because of me, because my clients were willing to take the action, to take the steps that I said, here is a way you can do it, but I want you to do it in your way. Okay. Magic and miracles. I tell you, it's amazing. So like I said in the book, this is my favorite topic. Action is my favorite topic. I love action. Aligned action is everything. It really is. Unfortunately, a lot of people take action in the other direction, which is counterproductive because they're going back into patterns that are toxic because they're living in past timelines and not healing them in the present moment. So taking action on your dreams, no matter how big or small, is super important. Little steps create massive impact, I tell you. Action is action, but what is the essence of the action that you're taking? Is it a higher expression action? Is it going to create more for your reality? How is this action of showing up in transcendence right now, how is this going to impact your reality in 5 years from now if you take action? Or maybe you go back to, I wanted to give up alcohol, but maybe next year, I'm not ready. I want to give up smoking, but not today. Lower expression. That's just an example, by the way. I'm not saying that drinking or smoking is bad. This is just an example. It's bad for me. It's a lower expression for me. So this is my example. Oh, yes, okay, well, a couple of drinks a week is not bad for me, or, you know, a couple of cigarettes or whatever. It's like I came to the acknowledgement that for me to be in my conscious awareness, to be expanded, to be the most conscious being I can be, I need to take action, which is higher, which is more like a meditation or a walk or a nervous system process or a pleasure practice, rather, or a conscious conversation or coaching, rather than bypassing. Are your actions of the highest expression or a lower expression? Because I don't need to tell you what that's going to create. To quantum leap, to jump, to understand that you are communicating with different dimensions at the same time in this transcendence. I know I'm getting kind of technical here. You need to understand that your vibration and your choices are up here, even when it's hard. People work with me and go, this is so hard. It's not the technical. It's not the what we deem as intelligent that is hard. This workbook is not hard. It's in here. It's actually sitting with yourself. That's fucking hard. Oh, sorry. It is sitting and looking at yourself in the mirror. That is hard. And I have been able to work through this in the last couple of days and this morning with my husband with communication. This is how I feel. This is what a solution is that I want to put in place so I can be vibing up here. It's another level. It's another level. It's another level. It's never ending levels of layers of consciousness that I desire to tap into. The work is never, ever done. I get to be in it every day and say, how now and where to? What can I bring in? So how much action are you taking towards your dreams on every given day? 80% of it is energy, 20% is strategy and structure. I'm giving you both. Strategy and structure is this. Energetics is how now. Honestly, how now? It's not hustle. It's embodiment, right? I want you to write down what are 3 actions that you can take towards your dreams. If you don't know what your dream is, I want you to write that down. What is my dream? And I want you to spend some time on that in your homework until we come into day 4. What is my dream? We're going to actually get into this further down the track as well. So maybe you don't need to spend too much time on it. We're going to get into this. And this is a interactive process. You can go backwards and forwards through your workbook, you know. But what are 3 actions you can take towards your dream from your heart? I will go for a walk on the beach, and I know that's an action towards my dreams. I'm not even kidding. I will put on my hat and I'll put on a beautiful, all my jewelry and stuff. And I'll be like, this is towards my dreams. I'm showing up as my future self in the now. I'm being it. I'm becoming it. I am it. Do you get it? Something is better than nothing, and nothing creates nothing. Something creates something. When I'm channeling, it's a lot of paradoxes. And I said to Luke before, when I was going through today's training, I like to express it first. I like to go through it with him and go, you know, how does this feel? And the guides start coming through. So about half an hour before my trainings, I'm actually in a channel, and quite often I'm expressing it out to Luke so I have an audience. Okay, this is how much I care about you guys. I care about helping others see themselves. And we laughed because something is better than nothing. Nothing creates nothing. Something creates something. That is the most simplest, but yet profound saying. And we both laughed because I can't make this up. Like, the guides come through, and my philosophy in life and how I got from being a hairdresser who was burnt out making 30K and just thought I shouldn't even charge anyone because I liked people so much. Excuse me. So now where I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars and I am spending like 1/10 of the time working is because my saying was something is better than nothing. I'm going to show up on Facebook. I'm going to show up to people. I was teaching classes in like a room with 25 people. And it was $25 a class, and there's a huge workbook that they got. And I put everything that I knew into this workbook, and there's spelling mistakes. And I didn't care. Something was better than nothing. If I waited for perfection, I would have never shown up. Tony Robbins always says, take action now. Speak it, write it, show up, receive it. Listen to this 10 times if you have to. Even while you're sleeping. A lot of my clients will fall asleep while they're listening to my meditations or my activations. I fall asleep as well, not out of boredom, but because it's a lot for the subconscious. Most of us haven't had it easy growing up. Most of us have had toxicity and trauma. All of us have had that. All of us. If you've had privilege, which most of us have, if you are sitting here right now, then you probably have privilege. Although we have internet all around the world, even in the poorer countries, the chances are if you're in this community right now, then you have a privilege. Whether you're from multimillionaire family, whether you just got the basics, the chances are you've had the basics. There's different levels of it, but guilt will, from not having as bad as the people that are in massive poverty that are starving, that guilt for them will stop us from growing. And then if we've been in privilege, then a lot of the time we'll self-sabotage as well, because we feel that guilt. And we have to really understand that we can't make our circumstances, whether it was poverty or privilege, the thing that stops us from growing. Because the more we grow, the more we light up, the more we shine, the more action we take, whether someone's going to like us or not. My friend is a sacred sexuality coach, and she's in her lingerie a lot online, and someone said, repent. We're going to get these things. I get YouTube comments all the time saying, you better go, you're a sinner, you better go repent. I get this all the time. People don't like me. Am I going to stop? No. Because the more successful I am, the more action I take, the more people I can reach, the more that they can spread the word of empowerment of self, not indoctrination into system. We are changing the world. You are changing the world. I'm not the guru. I'm simply sharing my experience, and I trust you take whatever you need, because your experiences, whatever they have been, how traumatic or toxic they have been, this is your story that you can share with the world. You can, however you share that, energetically or verbally, but in your heart, compassion, and how to reach others and communicate in whatever way you need to be. Whether you're working at the supermarket and you're sharing a smile energetically as you're giving somebody their food or stacking the shelves, or whether you're a school teacher, or whether you're a coach, or whether you own a camping ground. My beautiful client owns a beautiful glamping camping ground. Whatever you do, wherever you're called, you're living your life on purpose if you are doing these things: the self, the others, the spirit, communication, holding your boundaries and your standards. Accountability is everything, people. Okay, this is the last one before we wrap it up. How is this all landing for you? What is the things popping for you? Pop it in the chat box, let me know. Accountability doesn't mean feeling guilt and shame for what's happened in your life. Maybe you weren't the best mother. Maybe you brought your toxicity and your trauma through into your parenting. Feeling guilty about it for the rest of your life is not going to do anything, right? Guilt is here to serve you so you don't do it again. But the shame that we hold on to, the shame keeps us small. But everything you did and have done is literally from the experiences that you've had. And also there's a thing called the soul experience. Your children chose you. Your friends chose you. Your partner chose you. Some of our greatest soulmates, I'm not going to go too deep into this. I go into this in my other programs and my membership. Some of our greatest soulmates were the narcissists that came in and hurt us. And when I work through this with my clients, when I go back to the soul beyond the human, and we go into the different timelines, we go into the different soul streams, and we go deep into that in a channel. Obviously, we've got to go beyond the coaching capacity. It's more the spiritual empowerment and channeling. You can see the lessons that person that hurt you, what they gave you, what they gifted you. That's not to say that your human is okay with that behavior. But if you can expand the lens out further and further and further and further and further, I've done this with a lot of friendships. I go, what was the point of going through that? And I look back and there's always a beautiful golden nugget of expansion. Always. From childhood all the way through. Like I said, I've been working with my 23-year-old self, and she needs some security and love. So what am I going to do for accountability? I've sat with my 23-year-old self for the last 2 days, because I go through the communication before I come through and teach it or guide it, facilitate it, if you will. My 23-year-old self felt insecure, unsafe, and was petrified of being trapped. The same experience that my mum had that I empathed on. The same time I broke up with my now husband, broke up with him, cut all cord ties. I'm off. I am ridiculously, fiercely independent. Ended up getting into debt, ended up, I don't want to say going off the handles, because I was always had a job, always had a house, always had people around me. But up here, I was like, I drank a lot of alcohol. I think I gained like 20 pounds. And I went from this stable energy, but I felt trapped, to unstable and free. Well, that's what it felt like, but I was still trapped because I was trapped up here. So to heal this 23-year-old self, which is what I'm doing now, I'm putting in an SOP, a systems operating system. How does that work? SOP? Procedure. Systems operating procedure. If my husband dies, or for some random reason we don't stay together, who knows what's going to happen in the future? He's my soulmate. I love him, and we've broken up enough times to know that we want to be together. What am I going to do? How am I going to be secure and safe and raise my children and still serve the world? Where am I being codependent on another? So there's a difference between receiving and working with someone than being codependent on someone. And too many people in the past have stayed together with people that are not happy because of the codependency, because they are locked in and they can't get out. And many of us have experienced that with our own parents, because back in the olden days, getting divorced was not acceptable. So I'm taking accountability for my now self, for my insecurities, for the things that are popping up that don't make sense. Why am I feeling this way? When did I feel this last? When I was 23. Oh, hello, 23-year-old self. This is a communication with spirit, because you are spirit. There's echoes of your past, which is still in the now, because it's all still happening simultaneously. This is very much a quantum communication process we're going through today. So how often are you blaming the external for what is happening to you? This is a hard one, guys. This is the big one. How often are you blaming the external, because she did that and he did that and the government did this and the petrol prices went up and I lost my business and the prime minister and the world and the freaking pandemic, the recession, the school? How often are we blaming everybody else? I do it. I've done it. And now I go, hang on, it's a trigger. Something happening. I'm feeling anger, which means lack of deservingness, right? Why am I feeling this? When was the last time I felt this? Okay. I need to work through this. I speak it out. I write it out. I sit with it. I feel it. I solve it. I transmute it. I transform it. I transcend. What is your accountability? What process will help you own the power that you have by taking responsibility for your reality? If you have created this, then you can create that. I didn't help people get $100,000, get a new house, move countries, start their own business, become successful. Just like I didn't make the other people, maybe I would have helped them a little bit. Maybe I have been a bit of a guide, right? But I'm not responsible for that. They are. Just like the people who didn't do the work that came into my reality, who wanted all of these things, they didn't achieve it. It's not my responsibility. It's theirs. How does that feel for you? This is a big one to integrate. We're going to leave that there now. It's a big one. Tomorrow is self-care. So we're on day 4 tomorrow. This needs time to integrate. So please go do the things that I've told you about that are in the workbook to bring yourself to a sacred self-service, a joy list, a ritual. Please do some nervous system stuff, because the nervous system can start spiking when it starts going, whoa, I'm opening up, I'm stretching my edges, I don't have the capacity to hold this. Like, okay, take little bites of the elephant. Listen to this again. Come back to the workbook. Listen to this while you sleep. This is an hour of divine transformation. It's up to you to take the responsibility to say, how far do I want to go with this? Do I want to take a little bit of what Victoria said today in the guides? Or do I want to take the whole lot and go through a big up level? Be gentle with yourself. Be compassionate with yourself. Notice how you feel. How now? What is required? So we're going to get into tomorrow, self-care. Okay, so this is a big one. Tomorrow it's going to be coming into the heart. I'd love to know what is the biggest thing that's popped for you today. Pop it in the chat box. I'm feeling a lot of vulnerability in my heart, a little love. The communication that we have. We're not here to control others and how they think or try to convince them that we are something. And I've spent my whole life trying to convince people I'm something. It's not my responsibility what you think about me, whether you like me or you don't like me. I've had clients say, Victoria, you're triggering the hell out of me. And I'm like, that's good. I've had people leave my groups, my coaching, come back 18 months later. I'm still the same. But once you realize that you can be triggered and it's something to awaken you. Or maybe you're like, oh, I hear you. You're talking my tongue. Thank you, right? This feels like you're talking to me, which I am. This is the codex. This is the gift. This is the vulnerability and the authenticity and the integrity that we can hold in our communication. Okay, I'm going to love you and leave you because it's time to go be human. Have a beautiful day. And if you are enjoying Transcendence, please invite people to this group, the Awaken community with Victoria Bond, or ask them, hey, message them, would you like to do a free program? This chick Victoria is doing this free program and there's a workbook and everything. It's worth thousands of dollars, this program. We spent a whole week putting it together so we can gift it to you. So I want thousands of people to go through it for free with absolutely no ties, no agenda. It's a taster to see what it is like to work with me, but there's no pressure at all. If you can get something out of this that can shift your life to make it more easy, my heart is absolutely full. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Namaste.